There is mixed reaction on Capitol Hill to the latest escalation in the Trump administration's confrontation with Venezuela. On Wednesday, U.S. forces seized control of an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela that U.S. officials say was used to transport oil from Venezuela to Iran. Here to discuss, Sarakshi Rai, Deputy Managing Editor here at The Hill. Hey, Sarakshi, so for the most part, reaction on Capitol Hill to U.S. aggression against Venezuela has broken down along party lines, although some concerns from Republicans have arisen over that double-tap strike on a suspected drug boat back in September. When it comes to the seizure of this oil tanker, what has been the reaction on the Hill?
That's right, Drew. The Democrats are deeply concerned, but we've also heard from one Republican senator, Senator Rand Paul, who is a frequent critic of President Trump, saying that this move sounds a lot like war. He said he was extremely concerned about the U.S. being involved in foreign conflicts and was wondering whether or not this would lead to further escalation. We heard from Democratic Senator Chris Coons as well, who said that it basically looks like, and this is his direct quote that he gave to our partner News Nation, that, it looks like the president is sleepwalking the U.S. into war with Venezuela. So a lot of mixed reaction, a lot of concern from the Democrats and from Senator Rand Paul, who is a Republican from Kentucky.
What do we know about this tanker, and what is the motive the administration is giving for taking it?
We heard from President Trump yesterday. He said he was the one who actually confirmed the reports that the U.S. had seized this oil tanker. We heard from Pam Bondi, said that the U.S. was well within its right to seize this oil tanker. Basically, the U.S. has accused this oil tanker of basically operating in international waters under a fake flag. It was linked to another Latin American country and said that it was transporting oil to Iran. And this vessel was previously sanctioned by the U.S. as well for doing so. So essentially, the U.S. is saying that everything is above board and they were well within their rights to seize this oil tanker, Drew.
And now that the U.S. has this tanker, what exactly are we going to do with it?
That's right, Drew. Authorities did say that the seizure of this oil tanker went down without a hitch. There was no resistance from the crew on board that oil tanker. And we heard from the president when he was asked what exactly we are going to do with this oil tanker. He said, well, we're going to keep it. We're going to keep the oil. And that's directly from the president. He made those remarks in the Oval Office yesterday. So essentially, for all intents and purposes, the U.S. is planning on holding on to this vessel and keeping the oil.
Oil exports are the most important source of revenue for the Venezuelan government, and there are reports that the U.S. military will continue this campaign, possibly seizing more tankers. What impact could this have inside Venezuela and on the regime of President Nicolas Maduro?
That's right, Drew. This wider campaign and the seizure of this oil vessel has already sent shockwaves through Venezuela, and Nicolas Maduro has issued a very strong response, calling the seizure of this oil tanker an act of international piracy. Now, let's not forget, Venezuela has huge oil reserves, and it is their main economic lifeline right now, given all of the sanctions that have been imposed on Venezuela by the United States and other countries. Now, the seizure of this oil tanker and a wider campaign against other tankers, as has been reported to be in planning stages right now, could drive up the price of its oil tankers, even though they have promised its main customer, China, discounted oil, making it a very complicated situation right now for Venezuela and for Nicolas Maduro. Drew.
President Trump has suggested the U.S. will conduct land strikes inside Venezuela. He has said Maduro's days are numbered, but there are also these war powers resolutions in both the House and Senate that are set for votes as early as next week. Could Congress step in here to block further military action?
Look, it's unclear right now whether or not Congress will support these war power resolutions or block the military access or military operations in Venezuela. There's a lot of details that they still are demanding from the Trump administration, but it sounds like even Republicans are uneasy about entering into a conflict with Venezuela and potential land strikes. We heard language in the mammoth defense bill that just passed the House yesterday, the $900 billion defense bill, and there was language included in there that said that there was more information being demanded from lawmakers on those Venezuelan boat strikes that have taken place. So it seems unlikely that Congress Congress will go ahead and support, this military action in Venezuela. But for now, Republicans and Democrats increasingly uneasy about these boat strikes, Drew.
All right, a developing story that we will surely continue to follow. For now, we will leave it at that. Sarakshi Rai, thanks so much for your time.